What's going on, Off the Wall fans? It's Mike, and I'm here today to talk about this week's new episode of the Orville New Horizons. This is the third episode in the third soft reboot of the Seth MacFarlane sci-fi series, now on Hulu. Episode 3 of the Orville continues this trend of the new season where we're focusing far more on the dramatic science fiction side of things rather than the comedy. Although this episode does have a fair amount of comedy in it, it's again still far more subdued than what we've seen in the past. This episode also, speaking of the past, has a lot of things come up in it, hearkening back to previous seasons of the show. And we'll get into that in a little bit here. But I will say this is the first episode of this season where, while I still very much enjoyed it, I am starting to have moments where I'm like, okay, that thing there didn't sell me quite as well, didn't as it probably should have or maybe meant to. Particularly with the new character added to the show, Ensign Charlie Burke, played by Annie Winters. In the first episode, the main story was that she still was very distrusting of Kaylons, particularly of Isaac, due to the events that happened in season 2 with the Kaylon attack. And that does come back a little bit this episode, and I actually didn't feel like it worked quite as well. We go the entire episode without really a mention of it at all. We're busy dealing with the effects of the events of the main plot. And at one point, the Orville thinks that a fleet of Union ships is coming to rendezvous with them, and Isaac tells them, no, they're actually Kaylon ships in disguise. I'm not being affected by this thing that's affecting all of you. And Ensign Burke, on the bridge, just flies into a tirade about how we can't trust him. He's a Kaylon. This is all a trap. He's got Sleeper, and it's like we've been through this before. But also, it just felt kind of shoehorned into the scene as if to remind us, oh, hey, don't forget, she hates Kaylons. And it's a subplot, it's a character trait for this season that I hope we get somewhere with this quick, because the moment that it occurs in this episode did nothing for me. It was so short-lived. It comes out of nowhere, and it's over as quickly as it started, to the point where it's like, okay, did we need that? It really didn't seem like it meant anything. It contributed nothing to the story, especially when you then find out that the Kaylon attack they encounter isn't real. It's all fake. So again, it's like, did we need this? This is the first time where I've been like, we probably could have cut that out. But to get into the main meat of the story, we're looking at the crew of the Orville finding a planet that, by all information, is supposed to be a desolate wasteland, and now suddenly their sensors are telling them that it's got a thriving, modern technology community. But when they land, it's all trees, nothing to be detected. And then the next thing you know, they're in a 20th century high school. And then they are suddenly find themselves on a 747 airplane. And then they're on another planet, and they can't quite make sense of what's happening, but they're being attacked. Gordon gets beat up by high school bullies in a bathroom, and one of the... It's intense, but it's also wildly hilarious when you think about what's happening in this scene. We see it's a big mystery. This episode's one big mystery, and it's a delightful mystery, and it's like you really just have no idea what is happening. And when the reveal comes at the end, it's a nice harken back to previous seasons. We have a guest star appearance by Elizabeth Gillies, who you might know from the current incarnation of Dynasty, or on Victorious, the Nickelodeon show. She makes an appearance at the end, and it harkens back to, if you'll remember the episode from the first season, where they encounter a planet that comes in and out of their plane of existence like once every 10 days. And when they do that, it's like 1,000 years have occurred, or something to that effect. And what ends up happening is they start worshiping Kelly as a deity. And now this civilization has advanced like 50,000 Earth years and are now basically gods, and it's a great, and they were just trying to study them. They no longer are, they are immortal. They no longer have to face mortality and have basically become bored. So they kind of put the crew through this thing where they have to kind of face their own deaths so that these beings can once again remember what it means to die. It's an interesting episode with a lot of great character moments. There's some very good, subtle use of humor in this episode. I found myself laughing out loud a couple of times, and I very much enjoyed it. And again, it was an episode where we haven't really established any kind of big main plot thread, which is fine. The show isn't really known for that kind of thing. It's very episodic. The only moment I really just kind of didn't love was the moment with Ensign Charlie, where she just in the middle of this situation just goes on this tirade about Kalons, and it's over as quick as it started. Probably didn't need to be there. Probably could have done a bit more with it. And I hope whatever the end game is with this character, I kind of hope we get to it sooner rather than later, because we're 3 episodes in. 2 of those episodes we've had to deal with this from her, and while it was good for the plot in the first episode, I'm kind of over it now. So we'll see how that goes from there. But I love the episode. I love the show. The show continues to make me very happy. But I want to know what you guys thought. What did you think of this episode of The Orville? Let me know down in the comments below, or hit us up on Twitter. All of our Twitter stuff is down in the description of this episode. And make sure you guys follow along with us, like, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. Check out everything else we have here on the trailer, whether it's our Obi-Wan Kenobi reviews, our Ms. Marvel reviews. We just dropped our Jurassic World Dominion review, our trailer reactions, all that stuff is here. Subscribe, all that goodness. My name is Mike, and we'll see you guys again next time. Bye.